What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to KangBrosTV. Liverpool have just defeated Ajax 1-0 at their ground. Good result, I think. I think based upon who's playing, the team selection, who we got, I think it's a good 3 points. First game of the Champions League. Can you really argue?
I think I heard someone else make a point. They were like, it's one of those ones where you can automatically find yourself playing catch up straight away after the first game. So from that perspective, it's good. And I also think that, no disrespect, I could be completely wrong, but at this stage, if you'd asked me at the beginning, I would have said that Atalanta would be the ones that would be the toughest opponents, and then Ajax.
I
would have thought so. And then I would have thought Ajax would be the ones that would be like a banana skin that you would. That's how I'd have sized it up. So beating them is, for me, is like, okay, cool. That means that, okay, you've beaten them away. You'd like to think you'll get at least a point at home, if not 3, and then that leaves you with a bit of breathing space. That's how I would have lined it up. But performance-wise, I'm very, very underwhelmed. I know I've heard people like, oh yeah, done enough. It was okay. For me, Ajax probably deserved something out of the game. They had chances in that game. That save that Adrian made in the first half, the one that hit the post, one off the line. If you're asking me, that's a lot of chances. So, I understand it's 3 points, 1-0, job done, and there was a lot of things that were, factors. So it shows a lot of resilience. But I was very, very underwhelmed, to say the least.
But then, what were you expecting? That's what I mean. Like when we came away with a clean sheet there with Adrian in goal. Now he shits me up every time the ball comes towards us. And like you said, I agree with you. First half, it was a joke. You could come on, you can attack Liverpool and create a chance out of nothing, pretty much. And I mean, no, that's not taking away anything from Ajax, because they did play well, had some good attempts, but it was easy for them first half until Henderson came on.
I felt today, and this is obviously something that you lose with Van Dijk, but I felt there was such a massive gap between the front 3 and the back 4. There was one time they popped 3 passes and they were in on goal. And I asked myself, I was like, this is mad. I know that we don't want to play the high line, but don't drop off that much. And also, if you're going to do it, it doesn't mean that you drop off. It means that the press starts maybe a bit deeper in closer to our goal. So I don't know. I just feel like we're trying to find a plan B at the moment, because we know we can't play the same way every single time, which I get. I understand that,
but weren't you happy to see that Liverpool? Not obviously they weren't their amazing self, but they've managed to play a different way. Like there was a time where even Ajax were attacking, and Liverpool had banks behind the ball. And I hadn't seen that for a while.
Like I said, if you look at it on a piece of paper, and you'd see the score. If you open up the Sky Sports app and you've been busy, you're going to see the score. You're going to be 1-0 clean sheet, scored a goal, boom, away from home, job done. Fine, and that's the way you should look at it, really. But for those of us who watch that game, you're going to sit there and think that doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah,
and that's my point. And that's what I mean. Underwhelmed. Yes, we're missing our frontline goalkeeper. Our centre half's out for the season. Our other centre half that would probably take the mantle didn't travel. Our gun new signing midfielders out injured at the moment, and our centre forward hasn't scored a goal for a while. So there's things that you look at. The captain's just come back from injury as well, because Henderson's not necessarily fit, and the confidence at the moment is a bit shaky. So there's a few things that there's a lot of things that aren't quite going our way at the minute. So it shows. So with all things factored in, yeah, it's great to win away from home. But I'm just saying, I'm underwhelmed. I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, if you're Ajax, you should be sitting there thinking to myself, how we come away from this getting beat. That's what I'd be thinking if I was in Ajax camp.
Thing is, Mane's goal was obviously a huge bit of luck from the goal. The own goal, I would say. But what he did was mad.
Yeah,
that spin was unreal. The way he left man for dead. So you create your own luck, as you say. Okay, let's start with the team. So Curtis Jones started this game. His first game. What's your thoughts? Because all the people that love Curtis Jones, everyone knows that we want him to do well and actually turn into a good player if he can, but we're not convinced right now. That's what we try to say to people. And just to calm down with Curtis Jones. Today he started. Can someone please tell me what he did in this first half? I watched him carefully to see what he would do. He misplaced a number of passes. He got taken off at half-time. I don't know if that was the plan anyway. But for me, he didn't do anything. And I said I don't want to be too harsh on him, because I know he's young and all this kind of stuff. But for the same people that praise him a lot, saying he's this and he's that, what are you saying to me? Because when Henderson came on, the game changed in terms of Ajax being able to attack us with ease. That suddenly changed. I'm not saying it was just simply that one change, but a difference was made. So talk to me about what your take on it was, because we didn't watch the game together either. So what was your take?
Well, I've said this before, and I stick by this, that nobody who, I don't know, it doesn't matter who you are, what player you are in the world, you don't learn your trade playing for Liverpool, especially in the Champions League. Now, I agree with everything you said. I don't think he's quite ready. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, it's harsh" or whatever. Look, I'm just being honest. My honest opinion is that if I had seen Marco Grujic's name on that team sheet ahead of Curtis Jones, I would have felt a lot more secure. And I also feel Marco Grujic has gone away and earned his stripes. I actually think it's the wrong way around. Grujic should be playing for Liverpool, and I think Curtis Jones should be at Porto, wherever it is, and on loan. That's how I think it should. That's the way around it should be, in my humble opinion.
And do you agree with us?
Yeah, I'd like to. Again, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, he's done this, he's done that, he's a good player, he's done that." Yes, he's a good player, but again, he's still the only other person I would compare him to, a young player coming out of the academy that's done bits. There's two actually, but the one that I'll pitch up against is Raheem Sterling. He came out of Liverpool's academy and he set a level that you thought, whoa, taken to it like a duck to water. Is Curtis Jones giving you that same feeling as a Raheem Sterling? I know it's different positions, but that confidence, you think, you know what, he's ready. Even Trent's the other one that you talk about, but even him, you look at it and think to yourself, when you first started, you thought, oh, it's got a way to go. He's got a way to go. But what I'm saying is Raheem Sterling was the one that looked at and thought, he's the one that we can't be letting go on loan somewhere. He's ready. I've not felt like that about Curtis Jones at any point. Now, I'm not saying that he won't get to that level. I don't deny that. But the whole point of the loan system is to get them game somewhere where he's going to get 90 minutes every week and learn. At the moment, I think Grujic has done that in teams and he's succeeded. He's helped Cardiff get promotion. He's been away in Germany and been one of the top players in Hertha Berlin. Curtis Jones, for me, hasn't done those and doesn't have those attributes, skills at the moment, and he needs to be on loan. That's just my opinion.
That's a great shout about Grujic. I have to totally agree with you on that one. Fabinho, that man today, just came in, and I think he's the one bit of safety that Liverpool fans have. Like, even with Gomez, people have their doubts, right? But this guy comes in, slots in again when needed, and just plays like a boss. Literally plays like a boss. Some of the challenge that he was putting in, I think, like we talked about it when we sunk up together, it was like just before half time, it was a crunching challenge, and that's exactly what you want to see from your centre back. But for him to come in to fill in that role, he was superb. There was one great ball from Ajax that played over the top.
They didn't the keeper, and he just cleared it off the line.
But what a performance!
I think, and this is the other thing I will say, is he played brilliantly in that position, and he did that same thing against Chelsea. So I'm happy that we have someone with cover, but we need to get the heads out the clouds and be realistic. It is cover. He's not a centre back, because they'll be the same people that are going to turn around and be like, when he does do something wrong, because he will, because he's not a centre back.
Yeah,
something's going to happen. Everyone's going to be like, oh, he's like, how's he doing that? Because he's not a centre back. So yes, he's filling in. He's doing a good job so far, but you put him up against Man City at centre back, I think we may have a problem. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, like, as much as I praise the performance because he was very good, and I know I've got this pessimistic side of me, but I'm just being, the way I see it is that he's not a natural centre back, and it's a tough position to pick up. So there are going to be times when he loses battles in the air. There are going to be times when he commits to a tackle because he's a midfielder. There are going to be times when he's too square because he doesn't. As the midfielder, you always think there's a centre back behind you. That's going to happen. It's natural. So yes, he was good today. He was probably actually my man of the match for Liverpool was Fabinho, quite comfortably as well. I thought Robertson was good, but I thought Fabinho was head and shoulders above everybody. But people also have to understand that we've lost a centre back now for the best part of the season. That's gone. The season's gone. We won't see Van Dijk back this season. We need to get a centre back in January. There's no two ways about it. We need to get a centre back in January, and a good one. Mm-hmm. But Fabinho is good cover in there.
Today as well, like in the first half, as I said, Ajax found it very easy to expose Liverpool, and the defence will find themselves in a lot of pressure, going straight through that midfield. And this is where, like, we obviously miss Fabinho in that position as well. But if Thiago was playing today, I think that would have been a different, could be a completely different game today as well. If you had Fabinho in there and Thiago just shielding, exactly,
getting the ball, easing a bit of pressure,
and and like you said, linking up the attack, because
it was too far away from each other.
Absolutely. So I think that was one thing we're missing, and hopefully he'll be back pretty soon. And so I've heard with Alisson, he's not going to be out for too long.
And Matip should be okay by come weekend.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people have been asking me, like, do you think Liverpool will still win the league based on this team? And I still believe, even with Virgil out, and that is a massive loss, we should still be in the mix with Alisson in goal, with Thiago in midfield, with the strikers. We still should be in the mix amongst others, because I don't see any other team head and shoulders way above the
Yeah.
rest. So that's what I would say. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed. With Virgin there, I felt super confident that we would go and do it again. But that's how I feel personally with the situation that we have right now. You touched on it as well. Robbo, for me, was absolutely brilliant. Like, I would go as far as saying that he could be possibly my man of the match. Not because Fabinho wasn't great, but I think we take it for granted what this guy's doing on a regular basis. It's actually a joke. Like, his level of performance defensively going forward. Like, we talk about Trent and how it's hit and miss with him, but this guy, he just literally wears his heart on his sleeve, and you can hear him throughout the whole game. Like today, with no volume, you can hear him literally throughout the whole game, and it's up and down, literally no fear whatsoever.
Yeah,
I love it.
Like I said, I know it's not the most popular opinion with other fans and stuff because he isn't this glamorous fullback or whatever. But I'd love to hear people's thought. Can someone name me a better left back in Europe at the moment? And if there is one, I'd love to discuss. I'd love to discuss it. But I'm thinking about in England for straight away. I can't think of a left back. But I bet people talk about Ben Chilwell don't even come to me with that breeze because he isn't. Across Europe,
we're at Bayern Munich's one. Was that on the
Davies, Alphonso Davies, brilliant going forward, and recovery as a defender. His recovery is brilliant because of his pace gets him out of a lot of trouble. But I still think, you know, listen, people are going to think I'm being biased. This is just my personal opinion. He's a defender that can attack, whereas Alphonso Davies is an attacker that has the ability to recover. So I personally prefer the defender that can attack because you still know how to defend and you know your bearings. Personal opinion. But again, I can't think of many that are better than him.
Absolutely agree with that one. And then now a few other topics I want to quickly touch on is talk to me about Taki. Like, the only way I can explain him right now is like watching a fairy for me. Like, you may totally disagree, but I just see him floating around the pitch. Like, he gets thrown off the ball, he jumps up for second balls, jumps off for headers, he just gets thrown around. And that's what I'm now beginning to lose my patience with him. I'm worried. That's what I will say. I'm much more convinced with Jota. I think you're different to me. When Jota comes on, I much prefer him to see him come on than Origi right now. Literally, right? I see him as a threat. I see him create things. He gets defenders running back the other way. With Taki, I just see him floating like a butterfly. And I want to know if people agree with me.
I disagree. I completely disagree. I actually think the other way around. I actually think today, like, he's taking his time. Don't get me wrong, he's taking his time. But there was bits today where I thought to myself, yes, that's what we bought you for. There was a little touch, there was a flick, there was a cross, and I thought to myself, yes, that's what we bought you for. I actually feel the same about Jota at the moment. I'm a little bit on the fence with Jota because I'm like, yes, I know that there's a player in there because I've seen it, but are we getting him to do something different to what Wolves had him doing? Because at the moment, I don't think he's direct enough. At the moment, I think he's trying to be too airy-fairy in here. Get the ball, fucking get at your man, beat him because you got pace. That's what I want to see from him. I'm not seeing that at the moment, so I'm thinking you're finding your feet as well. So I reserve judgment. Minamino needs to be a little bit further down the line, and I believe that he is. But I also think there does need to be a little bit more end product from him. I think he does need to get an assist. I think he does need to get one out of his feet and fucking stick one in the stanch because they're becoming these players that are coming in and thinking, right, well, we found our level at our last club and we've hit the jackpot. And I feel Jota's could fall into that bracket. Minamino can fall into that bracket. Origi should now be gone. Great to see Shaqiri back in the mixer today, although he wasn't brilliant when he came on. But it's good to see him in the mixer. He needs to. But the other thing is, yes, he wasn't, but he's also not playing.
Exactly. You can't ask him to come on just because your name is Shaqiri.
You're playing with the 23s. Go and play in the Champions League away on a fucking Wednesday night when it's pissing down with rain and tear it up in 10 minutes. Let's get realistic.
Yeah, more than 10 minutes, I think. And all three coming off. That was another talking point. I've never seen that before.
But good. And the other thing is, yes, you got questions about Minamino. Yes, there's questions about Jota. But how fucking brilliant is it to have people that can come on and do that? I thought Salah today for me was poor. It's poor. Firmino is worrying me now. He is worrying me because
that header.
The header. I also think he should have had a penalty.
I think so as well.
I think he should have had a penalty. But at the same time, he's starting to worry me a little bit now because I think his confidence is rock bottom. And Mane had an ice pack over his knee. So it's good to see that we have people to come on and still get the result. But
I think, like you said, the fact that we could do that, I think we could never do that before. That's what it was. So, we've never seen those three come off. It's because we can never do it. Now, when you look at Taki and Jota, they got legs on them. That's one thing I will say. They will definitely get defenders thinking. You can't just say, all right, we're going to take these 3 off. Of course, they're not going to be as intense with those, but they're going to give you problems. They're going to give you different problems, like intricate passing like they were doing, and that's a nice thing to have. But like I said, I think it's literally because the game build-up we got coming up, it's ridiculous. I think you said it to me earlier, it's literally like 3-4 days in between each game. It's crazy. So we've had to do that, and it makes sense to take them off 60 minutes. I think they were definitely, you can tell today, we had already planned these subs way before. Half time, Hendo comes on, 60 minutes, I think it was, these 3 come off, and, you know, it was super planned.
Centre backs. We need a centre back in January. My question would be, who do we go for? My number 1 target would be Upamecano. I would have said Koulibaly normally, but I also think Napoli are going to dig their heels in. But if they want 60 million, I'd rather spend 45 or whatever it is, like it's my money, but you know what I mean, on Upamecano, who's a bit younger but has the ability to kick on. Or I'd go the other way and I'd go get Conor Cody.
We said Conor Cody for a long time, and you brought it up, and I think a lot of people even laughed at just saying that we were biased because he's Liverpool lad or whatnot. The guy is a player. He's proven it now. Not just a personality to go with.
Leader.
That's what I was going to say.
And he's good in the box. He's good in the air, which is one thing we're going to miss, I think, with
Carrot teased him with it as well.
Yeah, but that's what I said. I'd love to hear what people think about that. What are the options out there? What do we need? Is Fabinho a concern to everybody else like he has been for us as well? That'd be interesting.
So yeah, that's our take on it. And I think man of the matches, I think we probably would go for Fabinho, and I was probably more swaying towards Robbo because his performance is just ridiculous. So let us know who your man of the match was.
3 points. Champions League campaign is up and running. Up the Reds.
And don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Until the next one. Peace.